What's up, legends? How is everyone doing? Welcome back to my channel. Been watching the comments there of the people that are watching this live. We've got a a poll going on in the chat as to whether or not you are bullish or bearish post FOMC. So if you are on the live, make sure that you vote on that. Let me know your thoughts. Welcome to everyone. If you are new here, welcome. Sometimes this channel gets a bit hectic with the information, but I am doing my best to simplify it as much as possible, so bear with me. If you are returning, welcome back. If you're from the TTC community, what's up, my friends? I'm so glad to have you guys here. We're going to get into the current price action because on yesterday's video, if you happen to catch it, I was talking about a $28,000 level where we had a high, excuse me, we had a high level of long orders, and we wanted to see if we were going to hold at that level for a potential bounce and the end of the fake move week beginning to the downside. Now, right after I posted that video, new orders turned up. There's something I want to talk about with that on this video. And I did also update you guys on Twitter when I saw that. So if this one decides to load in a second, excuse me, you can see here, as soon as those new orders came in, this is what I want to talk about mostly is, here we go. The 28,000 has had a high level of limit orders for days now. Sometimes this is a hint it might be fake, so need to see what happens there first. So I want to talk about that, but just as a side note, if you're not following me on Twitter, be sure to do that. The link is in the description of all my videos, because sometimes, especially because we trade heat maps here, heat maps can change very, very often, and unless you're trading them live, then you can't really rely on the information that is there at one moment to always stay there. So when something different does happen to what I kind of mention on YouTube, I do try to update it on Twitter. Of course, that is if you're not in the TTC community, which that might be something that you want to consider as well if you're wanting to learn this method in full. But let's dive deep into into Bitcoins and those levels from last night, because and by the way, whilst we're doing this, please smash up that like button nice and early, because when I am live, the earlier that you like it, the more that lets YouTube know that this is something people should watch. So if you could do me a solid, that would be great. But what I want to talk about is, oh, I'm so sorry. It's because I'm talking too fast. But these two levels that I talked about on the video yesterday, we had not yet hit them. They were liquidation levels at 28,200 and 27,950. So we were aware of them for yesterday's video. We ended up taking them out. Now that 28K level, and what I mentioned on Twitter, I want to show you on the heat maps here, because hopefully we still have some sort of a record of it. We do here. So this is the level right here. See this red line? You can see that there are orders for a really long period of time at 28K. Now, logically, you might think if the orders are staying there for a long time, those people really want to buy at those levels. And to be honest with you, the market maker knows that that's what you would think, right? So a lot of the time when you see a particular level hold a high number of orders for an extended period of time, being more than a couple of days, sometimes that's the hint that it's fake. And they leave that level there so that you think there's going to be a bounce. And if you notice, we obviously broke below it. So if you do trade heat maps, just note that when you see an order stay in a particular area for a really long time, that doesn't strengthen the level. It actually should make you more suspicious of the level. So, but at the same time, you have to just see what happens there. So you can't automatically conclude that it's going to break, because it may hold. And what I personally tend to do when I see that is, as price gets closer to that number, I drop down to the 5-minute time frame if I'm live trading, and I see how the candles react in that zone. So yesterday, when we did get to around the 28K level, it wasn't looking very good. Like it wasn't looking, let's go down to the 5 minute and I'll show you, because this stuff is just good for you to know for, when it happens again in the future. So where was it? 28K was around here. Right. So as we were heading down here, this candle, see, like it broke right through on the 28K. And then this bounce here it wasn't great. Number one, we didn't get a stopping volume candle. So when you hit a high level of buy or sell orders, if we were in an uptrend, if that level was strong enough to cause a trend reversal, you'll usually get a stopping volume candle, which looks something like this candle right here. It's usually got a very long wick at the bottom and a small body, and that's like the buying pressure buying back up. But this was a full, like, red, full-bodied candle that broke the 28K, and then it went for the next longs that turned up that I had written out on Twitter at 27,800. Now, could that have been a bounce there? You would be watching for it at the time, but what would not give you confidence that it was going to bounce there was the fact that the next candle after didn't engulf that red candle. So it closed with a wick to the upside, and it didn't fully recover that red candle. So that was like kind of the hint that no, this is not where a trend reversal is going to happen. But now let's look at the next level. So in the next one down here, when price came to 27,675, which was the next long order. So on the video that I did yesterday, the only buy orders we had were at 28K, right? As soon as I posted that video, which is always the way, 3 other levels showed up, which was 27,800, 27,675, and 27,600. So then you had to watch those levels. So we broke the 27,800, and it was the 27,675 that held. After that, even more levels came up. So, and I kept all of these on the chart to show you. There was 27,600, 27,200, and 27,000. They all showed up, but they only showed up for a small period of time. But the difference between this bounce here and this bounce here was that the next candle after it hit that buy zone did engulf the candle prior. That doesn't necessarily mean trade it, but that was where you would start to go, there's a possibility of a trend change now. Whereas in this one, you wouldn't be thinking that. But this one is where you start to pay attention. And then once that happens, then you start looking for stopping volume candles if they're there. In this case, it wasn't there. And then we did have a small little move to the upside. I'm still on the 5 minute time frame, by the way. And now we're kind of in this situation. The only kind of thing that I wanted to point out about this zone is that this green candle right here, which is the only, it's the only hit to the low after that 27,675. This is the only one that came in with a decent amount of volume to push price up, right? Not decent, it's higher than all the other volume to the left of it. But then, and so that was a little, sorry guys, that was a little bit promising. But then this candle happened that rejected the 200 EMA, and that was actually a lot more volume. So it's a very tricky situation right now because you don't know if we're in a trend reversal or not. Mind you, I'm still on the 5 minute time frame. So the thing you have to ask yourself is, like, are there trapped traders here? And let's go to the 15 to see if we can have a look at that. Not a lot of volume when you move up to the 15 minute time frame. So look, there is definitely going to be trap traders. Is it a high amount? Don't know at this stage. Don't know if it's high enough. We want to then look for vectors above the price. Now this red vector here was fully recovered, so that doesn't count. So the next one that really has our interest to the upside is probably this red one here between 28,500 and 28,630. Not saying we're going to get there, we're just marking vectors. But because we've got nothing down here, we have to go up higher in time frames to try and find why did price stop there and like make it make sense? You know what I mean? So now I'm on the 1 hour time frame, and I've got this candle here with a very large wick, which that wick kind of because it's closer to the current price, that's the one you want to pay attention to over these vectors right here, because this wick like ate into them. The only thing I really want to know about this candle to see if I should bother paying attention to it, because obviously we haven't closed the whole candle, is did we close more than half of it? So if I measure out the 50% line of that candle, that is at 27,810. So not too far from price. We did close, you know, around that level, but let's see if we can get even closer. So I'm going to go to the 4 hour now, and on the 4 hour I've only got this blue candle right here, so I'm literally going to do the exact same thing and measure from wick to wick of that candle, because we haven't closed the whole thing, and see if we've closed more than 50%. Now that 50% line is actually higher, Command Z. So that's not got my interest either. So I'm going to go even higher now and see what is going on up here. I've only got this very high volume kind of doji looking thing. We've definitely closed more than 50% of it. So let's zoom out on this one here, and then look at this. This is all no high volume candles here to, like, there's no imbalances here to recover. It's all like there's nothing really until we're back down at this green candle. Not to mention 24,325 is a liquidation level as well, but there is a higher one at 25,4, so just keep that in mind. So really I don't have vectors to mark that are close enough to price for me to be interested without thinking we're not going to have a big drop, which is a little bit kind of scary, but that's what's there, because the only vector that I can really mark is this green one here, and that puts price back somewhere between 21,780 and 25,545. Now, does that mean that this run to the upside is over? No. When you zoom out, that will still create a higher low if price does go somewhere between there, and all it will do is retest the 200 EMA. So it would actually still be bullish, and it would actually be a very good buying opportunity, in my opinion, if it were to hold around that level. So I wouldn't be afraid of a really big drop. If you're already short, which you probably are, you know, looking at this, it would probably be worth holding it. But, you know, higher time frame, I kind of like the idea of a deep pullback like this. I think it would be a great opportunity to get in if you didn't get in on, you know, some spot buy or whatever previously. But the only thing is that if it did come all the way down there and bounce out, that would then be the beginning of rise level 3 on the daily, which is potentially the last rise. But that could be the last rise that takes us into the higher levels that I've been talking about before, where we need to break 34K in order to have a chance at somewhere between 36 to 40K. So yeah, not ruling it out yet. Someone actually asked me that yesterday. Does this change my idea? The fact that we're dropping now, does this change my idea of more upside in the future on a higher time frame? It doesn't. It's actually presenting a pretty decent opportunity, to be honest with you. But let's go back, because I want to talk about let's go down here. I want to talk about some other things. So these long orders are now gone, and yeah, so they're now gone. So we'll relook at that. Let's see what we've got going on right now. What have we got down here? This one, we've got 27,500. Now that's kind of been on and off all day. It's kind of grown and then it's gone, and then it's grown and then it's gone. So it's worth keeping an eye on. Again, it is something you have to keep on an eye on live if you want to trade heat maps. So this software that I use is Trading Light. If you want to get it, there is details in the description of this video, along with all the other stuff that I trade with too, by the way. In case you're not aware, OKX is the exchange that I trade on. It's definitely my preferred exchange. Do your own research if you like it. There's a link in the description of this video to get 15% discount off your trading fees, which definitely adds up over time. So check that out, and while you're checking out Trading Light as well. But Yeah, you need to watch this live, but so far there's been 27.5. But at the same time, you need to have short orders above price if you're to believe that it's going to go down further. And we don't have that. Like, there was a level that was flashing on and off earlier, but I think this week may have got them already. And there's nothing above price, which kind of makes it a little bit difficult to know how far we're going to retrace before potential further downside. But then when you look at the order book here, you can see it here on the right hand side. See this last colored column, so the second last column out of all of them. At a glance, you just look at that to get the overall bias, because if these numbers are mostly red, then there are way more people wanting to short than long. And if they're mostly green, it's the other way. So when we have a quick glance at this, it's a lot more red than it is green. So that's one thing to watch out for. Also have to keep in mind that heat maps are only showing you limit orders that are in the book. They don't show you market orders that get filled immediately. So, you know, if there is a very, very large amount of market orders that comes in and shorts anytime soon, we won't identify that on heat maps. So just keep that in mind as well. And market orders are like, you know, basically the market maker filling the other side of your trade. But I want to talk about these levels from yesterday. See if we can just get, because the heat maps aren't giving us a lot, let's just see if we can get an idea of where we are, you know, with just basic technical analysis. So just to very briefly go over what we discussed yesterday, we had the fake move week beginning, which was this move to the upside. What follows that is the formation. We had drop 1, we had drop 2. Now, all of that was before yesterday's update. And then down here would be drop 3 on the 15-minute time frame. Now, from there, you usually, after drop 3, you would expect a reversal. But you have to keep in mind that this is the 15-minute time frame. And there's always the possibility of the levels, once it's completed on a lower time frame, feeding up into a higher time frame. So you shouldn't automatically assume reversal is what I'm trying to say. What you do look for, why you would stay on the 15-minute as opposed to starting to feed up, is a stopping volume candle, which we are lacking. So that's why I'm kind of putting the warning out that just because we have the 3 levels on the 15-minute time frame, and we were favoring a bounce to be the end of, you know, the false trend from yesterday, it may not happen because we're lacking that stopping volume candle, which we kind of need to trap people before we reverse. Yes, we have trapped people, but they're not at high volume. So it's just a worrying, that price action right there is just a worry to believe that it's the downside is done. And also, if it were, you would expect that we have broken the 50 EMA with volume by now to the upside. And when we have a look at that area, let me just zoom in on it. When we have a look at where we've been ever since this move down here, we haven't broken the 50 EMA with volume. Like, we've broken it sort of now, it needs to retest, but there's no volume coming in here. So this is setting up to be it does look like, look, if there was volume in these candles here, I would say this is a trapping volume formation. It's a half Batman. Like, it would just, what this looks like on the screen is such a perfect half Batman or trapping volume formation, but it's lacking the volume down here. And that's why I think it's potentially not. So the only real thing that you have left to go off, because we're lacking volume to the downside, we're lacking a W formation, we're lacking a break of the 50 EMA volume, we're lacking so much that if you really thought we were going to bounce here, the only thing you have left to go on is a break of the initial high of the day and a successful retest. So that initial high of the day today is at 28,170. So we would have to break that, because look how many, we've got this week here, we've got this week here. So we have not been successful in breaking it for like 2 sessions now, Asia and UK. We're almost at the end of UK. So yeah, like that would be the only, like, if you're really clinging to hope that we're going to bounce, that would be it. But at the same time, for as long as we don't break it and we continue to reject off it, you should expect further downside. So for me, I am still holding on to my short. I want to now zoom out to the 1 hour to see, are we feeding up in time frames? And like, is that probably the better way to go about it, to have a look at that idea. Now, we've definitely had 3 hits to a similar level on the 1 hour time frame. I'm just going to hide this because we don't need it. Right, which can bring in a reversal. On the 1 hour, this one right here does not count as drop level 1, but this one does because it broke the 50 EMA. So that red candle right there would be your level 1 drop according to the 1 hour time frame. Then we went into a board meeting, rejected the 10 EMA. Now, the faster the EMA, or the smaller number the EMA, that price rejects that, the more bearish or bullish you should be. So the fact that it couldn't even get back above the 10 EMA, that's pretty bearish at that point in time. That led to drop level 2, which is here. So now if we go on what I just said, then we have a look here at the current price action on the 1 hour time frame. To this point in time, 2 sessions into the day, we've not been able to get above the 20 yet. So the fact that we're not even above the 20 EMA, again, just adds to my suspicion that there is more downside to come. And actually, what was that heat map number? Let's have a look. What was it? 27,500. So I'm going to move this one now to 27,500. That's not big enough. I would expect level 3 to be probably a bigger drop than this. And also, let's just... Yeah, see, this vector situation is really difficult with that wick to know which one is the right one. But I'm gonna mark this one simply because, I'll tell you why, because this is where the candle bounced. So I'm gonna mark that as my area of interest, but I wish that wick wasn't there. It would mean more if that wick wasn't there, but it is, so just keep that in mind. But see, now that sort of becomes a little bit more interesting. You can definitely see, let me get all this on the screen. You can definitely see a drop 1. You can definitely see a drop 2. We're not doing very well trying to get back above the 20 EMA. Look, even if we got, back to the 50, it would still potentially be bearish, because let me show you why. If we mark, which one? This red vector candle right here, let's mark the halfway point of that one. 1 second. By the time price, if it did, by the time price retraced to that 50% line there, the 50 EMA, let me just draw it. The 50 EMA might come down like this, right? And then price might do this, reject there, and then we get that. So I kind of like that play, to be honest. If we got something like that, would be good. Then I'd think, yep, okay, well, that's the 1 hour level 3. But mind you, could drop a hell of a lot more, because the liquidation levels are down here at 26.6 and 26.350. Let's double check if they're still there actually. What have we got going on the heat maps? So again, you can see there's a lot more liquidity below price than above price, because we have a lot more yellow zones. This is very, very bright yellow at 30,300, meaning basically everyone shorted at 30K. So they're going to come for that eventually, mark my words. And then here we've got 26,950, 26,450, and if it was really dramatic, 23,500. So 26,550. Yeah, so actually that also tests the last week's low of the week as well at 26,900. So yeah, look, if we break through this vector, and I'm telling you, even though I've marked it, I think it's a high chance we'll break it, because this wick has already pierced right through it. So it's only there now because of this candle, but I do think if we drop another level, I think we'll break it. I really do think we'll break it. Obviously you have to trade what you see at the time. These liquidation levels are now gone, so we'll get rid of them. to have a nice clean chart. But this is pretty much what I'm looking at. So moral of the story is, as long as we're under the 50 EMA on the 1 hour time frame, I would expect one more drop to come. And first watch the 27,500 level, but expect potentially something bigger than that, especially then when you time it up with when you line it up with the timing of the FOMC, which is, when is it? It is 7 p.m. Wednesday. That's 7 p.m. UK. Oh my goodness, my battery's about to die, so I'm gonna have to get off in a second. But it's 7 p.m. UK time. Oh, where is it? Tomorrow. So there is enough time for another drop. So just, keep that in mind. Keep these levels in mind at like the 27-ish K region. I'm really worried that my computer's going to die. So I'm going to jump off right now. Just know that there isn't a lot to push price up right now. So if we start dropping, it could be big. The liquidation levels are there. We're only at 11 billion. There's room to go. This down here takes us to 27, 26 and a half as well. So that's kind of the zone. I'm so sorry that I can't read your comments and answer because, my battery's gonna die. I'm gonna handle this better next time, guys. And I'm gonna charge my laptop before I go live, but it just drains so much of my battery and I can't have it plugged in whilst I'm live. So I'm gonna leave you. Please smash up the like button if you enjoyed this video. Leave me a comment let me know what your thoughts are. And don't forget to check out all the links in the description of this video if you want access to any of my trading tools. Have an amazing day. And I should be able to go live tomorrow, so we'll have a chat then. Bye-bye.